Innovative content. Global audience.
Hello viewers, a very warm welcome to you from the world's capital city, London. This is the world of cinema. I'm Princess Kessy. As you know, I always bring you faces of the movie industry. And today, viewers, guess what? I have the biggest of them all, and of course, one of the oldest in the industry. I am quite excited, and I know you are excited too. Yes, I have with me, as you can see, he is the father. I call him father of Kwood. So all Hausa people get in here is about to be real. Yes, not just Hausa, even in Nollywood. He is one of the founding father. He is no other than ALHAJI ABDULKAREEM MOHAMMED, and he has over 400 title credited to his name, both in radio and in television. Of course, he is the MD of Moving Image Limited and many, many more. I could go on and on, but you know how we do. We just go straight to the business of the evening. You're welcome. Good evening, sir.
Princess,
Nice to
it's a pleasure.
have you. Like, I feel fly. I feel like I should fly already. Just sitting with you like this. I don't know, but the feeling is just good. Thank you for coming, sir.
I appreciate your
Yes, sir.
invitation.
So quickly, sir, you are one of the founding fathers of Kwood. Tell us a little bit about that. How did you start all that?
Well, Princess, let me be modest. I will not claim to be the father of Kwood, but Kwood, yes, Kwood is an industry of the Hausa films that is domiciled in this Asian city of Kano. Now, Kano has a historic place in human history because it's an establishment of a city that is over 1,000 years old, and it has been renowned as a trading post, trans-Saharan trade route that started from Kano up to Tripoli in Libya. Then the Moroccan leather that is being acclaimed to be Moroccan is actually Kano leather. So that is the historic situation of Kano as a city. Then here comes an industry of the Hausa films. Kano is serving as the hub of the industry in terms of production, in terms of sales, in terms of exhibition of films that are made in Hausa language. Okay. Now, Hausa is a language that is spoken across the West African sub-region. So we are talking of nothing less than 70 million first speakers of Hausa. Okay. Nothing less than 150 second language, first language users of the language. Okay. All right? So that's what we are talking about.
Wow, that is quite big. And as a producer, as somebody that has been in the movie industry for years, and then when you look at how you started and today, you've evolved so well. Now, there's a legacy you have built, and a lot of young people are coming into the industry. Now, how hopeful are you that they are going to carry on well with this legacy you have built?
Well, the fortunate thing about the Kwood industry is that it is an industry that has been sheerly driven by talent. I mean, this is an industry that as far back as 2001, okay, with about 4,000 registered practitioners, only 5 of them had tertiary level of education.
Wow.
And the remaining 3,995 are driven by sheer talents that God has endowed to them, either in acting, in producing, in directing, in all the landscape of filmmaking. So it is an industry that one would say is God designed. Wow. And God driven. So based on that, one can appreciate that starting from that early stage of the formation of the industry to now, there are many people that have graduated in filmmaking.
That is
there
true.
Are many that have developed their skills.
That's
that
true.
Are competing with filmmakers from across the world. So you can see that it's an industry that has given every reason for one to be associated with it as something that has grown.
Wow, that is quite interesting. And ALHAJI, you have a major event coming up pretty soon. Can you tell us more about this event?
Well, the event is what I have done is for the last 5 years, we have done 5 editions of what you are talking about, and that is the Kano Indigenous Languages of Africa Film Market and Festival.
Okay.
And the acronym is KILAF, KILAF.
Okay.
What does that mean? It simply meant that it's a dream that I've had from 1982. Wow. It didn't crystallize until 2018.
Such a long
and
time.
Let me give you the background to it, because that is where the importance, the significance of the event lies for me.
Okay.
I was doing my attachment in KCOP Channel 13 in Los Angeles as at that time.
Okay.
And here was this governor from Nigeria. His name is Jim Nwobodo. He invited an American senator in the California Senate.
Okay.
Her name is Senator Diane E. Watson, to Nigeria, a Black American that had never left America in her life.
Wow.
So she came into Nigeria for the first time, and Jim Nwobodo recorded her visit to the country and gave to her, look, Senator Diane, when you get back home, you can be able to reflect on this visit. So she was very excited. But on coming home to now play this tape with some of her guests at the home, the tape could not play. So she was debilitated. She now came into the station that I was doing my attachment in, KCOP Channel 13. My executive producer was her very close friend, another Black American. She now said to her, this is my problem. She said, well, welcome. I can be able to solve this problem for you. So she now had her tape to be transferred from NTSC signal, from power signal to NTSC signal, so that she could watch. And this woman introduced me to this senator. Now, the beauty of that introduction is the lady incorporated me into her re-election campaign into California Senate in 1982. Wow. And she took me across because the people that were supporting her candidature were Black American actors and actresses. That's her community. And the mayor of Los Angeles at that time was Mayor Tom Bradley. She took me to his office and said, this is a Nigerian that is, cooperating into my campaign, and I would like him to be speaking about one thing. And that simple thing that she was making me to speak about at our campaign re-election campaigns was how we respect our elders back at home in Nigeria. Because she said in her wildest dream, she never thought there is this one place that she could come into the country. Any important person she met was Black, and every person that mattered was Black. Wow. And there was no white around the place, and everything was moving on smoothly. So she wanted me to be talking about how we respect our leaders. Through that interaction, I was able to appreciate the fact that if one loses his identity, there is a lot of problem associated with it. And the Black American community, I got to understand how they miss it through that process. So from that time, I said to myself that whenever I get an opportunity to intervene so that we can be able to preserve, conserve, and project what we have as our own, I will do it. And that's the history behind KILAF, so that we can be able to now say our filmmakers should be making films in our indigenous languages so that we don't lose sight of who we are. Because if we do, then we are losing everything.
Wow, that is quite big and amazing as well. Now, tell us, from what you said so far on indigenous films production, how would you rate it so far? And talking about funding as well, is that a major problem when we talk about indigenous filmmaking?
Well, a lot of challenges. In the first instance, our Africanness is getting to be blurred. Okay. Because we are losing sight of who we are. We are imitating, copying other cultures at the expense, at the detriment of promoting our own. Now, our youth have a disconnect already between who they are and who they are trying to be. And in the process, if we don't help them to hold them back into who we are going to lose it as a people. So that's the predicament that we are. So my festival is saying that let us have a platform
okay,
where we can be able to encourage people to produce films in their indigenous languages, and then let us scale them so that we can be able to say to them, here you are, we are rewarding your professionalism and excellence in this process.
Wow.
So that we can be able to motivate them to feel that there is the need for them to make their own productions in their own local languages. And the idea is we are taking Kano being a traditional place, Kano being driven by Kannywood as a product, to now say, let us host the whole of the continent to Kano so that we can be able to celebrate indigenous languages.
Wow, that is quite amazing. Now, tell us more about the Kannywood of today as compared to when you started the industry.
Kannywood of today, if I can equate it with China, when China started to unleash their own products to the world, everything inferior was associated with China. But now Chinese products, wherever they are, they compete with any product that is available in the world market. That is the start of Kannywood. When it started, there was inferior quality because in different aspects of productions, in different action of distribution and marketing, there were pitfalls. But fortunately enough, because technology is where this industry rides on, is offering new things and new ways of doing things, and everybody is embracing it because of this globalization phenomena, and also the sophistication of the audience. The audience of those yesteryears that can accept poor quality products cannot anymore accept such products. So it's compelling the filmmaker to now aspire to be competitive in the world market as it is today. So that is where we are in terms of production. I feel that many of the people that have started the industry are brushing up their techniques. They are enriching themselves with higher capacity building opportunities so that they can be able to have a quality product.
Now, when we talk about the economy, we can see that Kannywood, it's one of the industry or a part of the entertainment industry that is actually contributing to our GDP in Nigeria. Because of course the number, I know when you watch, you even have a station when we talk about African Magic House, and what can the government do to make it better? Because we know that is one major. They are really doing well. Yes. What can the government do to make it better?
I think the government is just like Nollywood. Nollywood actually is a product of its own sheer zeal, sheer talent, and belief in oneself. Because if Nollywood had waited for government to come in before they spring up, there wouldn't have been Nollywood.
That's true.
Because what both Nollywood and Kannywood has done is to give our governments wake-up calls. And up to now, I can assure you that our governments have not woken up to that call at all. Because I could remember I was serving in a committee that was coalescing all the guilds and association of Nollywood. We wanted to form a national body.
Okay.
And this was compelled, according to the then minister, Nweke Jr.,
okay.
He said he never thought Nollywood was important until when he was going as a federal minister to some African countries. And then once he alighted and they say, this is a minister from Nigeria, he will be asked, do you know Pete Dochi? Do you know Rita Dominic? Do you know? So he said, I was not as important as these guys are projected us. So these are people that we should not wish away. And I think up to now, our government people have not acknowledged, they have not woken up to the responsibility of how they can be able to turn this creative industry into the advantage, competitive advantage that they have given the nation. And this has cut across the state governments and federal government itself. So there is still the need for the governments to wake up.
I love that because the film industry is one of the industry that is really thriving so well in Nigeria. Now, but from you, what would you want to see differently in the industry? We know that you have actually created a niche in that industry, but right now, what would you want to see differently?
I will want to see a proactive government that can say, if Nollywood has been able to place Nigeria among the top producing nations of the world. I served in Vision 2020 that was envisioning for Nigeria. This was back in 2009, for us to place our country in the top 20 nations by 2020. And the news got to us as far back as that time, 2009, that Nollywood has taken Nigeria to number 3 position out of 99 countries. And this is based on a study by a United Nations agency. But unfortunately, there is no any other. There were 29 thematic areas in this Vision 2020. Not a single one that have taken Nigeria beyond, up to the point of 20, not talk of number 3. But the industry that have done that for Nigeria, and I'm specifically talking to the federal government of Nigeria, I think is criminal. I think is grossly unfair to say that there is none of the professionals that have qualified to head the agency that is responsible for film development in the country from that industry. I think that is gross unfairness. So I want the federal government and all state governments to appreciate that this industry is indeed doing a job for the nation, and it needs to be reciprocated. But I appreciate the present government for creating a creative economy component into the Ministry of Culture so that it can be able to do this. And I wish them well.
Wow, that is well said, sir. How can Nigerian government really help the film industry now to collaborate more with other industry, talking about outside the country, other industries across the world? And let's talk about film fund as well. Like in developed countries, you see there's something called the film fund, where producers, even indigenous local producers, are able to access fund. But like you said, the government has not really done pretty well. So what can we do? And how can we even start collaborating more, producing more with other industries?
In the first instance, there is no consistency in government policies as it relates to the creative industry. For example, there is a move to do a Motion Picture Practitioners Council of Nigeria, MOPICON. From the Nweke Junior period up to now, that thing has suffered a stillbirth. And the notion is fantastic, because if you have a national body that handles the affairs of the industry, it is all for the better. But leaving it as it is now, I think is not the correct thing to do. So I will call on the government to step up on that aspect. The National Film Fund, incidentally, there has to be incentives. Incentivization of a process is key to the success that can be attained within it. So if there is a National Film Fund, for example, what it will be doing is looking at prospective areas whereby an intervention from government can facilitate private sector development in the aspect. That will be key. But without it, I'm sure the optimization that can be derived out of the enterprise will not be achieved. And I think that is an area that the federal government should pay attention to.
Wow. Now, film is a great tool for entertainment, and is an educational tool as well. You have done so well with your film and festival. How can we, the younger people, the generation, sustain this in particular?
Well, sustenance of this actually lies on the young people, because they need to understand that there is nobody that can propagate who you are, what you stand for, in the globalized world that we are facing now, better than you. So it is bad logic for one to assume that you have a responsibility, but you are waiting for somebody to do that bit for you. It doesn't make sense. So our young people need to understand that in this globalized world, there is the need for them to go back to where they are, the basics about who they are and how they are living, so that they can be able to project it on the screen in terms of entertainment, in terms of economy, because it's a means that you can be able to make money. And that is why Nigeria being solely relying on oil as a source of revenue, the creative sector is another one huge area that we need to rely upon, because our musicians have clearly shown that this industry has a place to grab some budgets of a creative economy around the world into Nigerian economy.
Now, when we talk about workshop and trainings for young people, do we have any that can even help, push people who are even interested more into the industry?
I think we are doing very well in that respect, because apart from the government agencies that are available, like the National Film Institute in Jos, like the Nigerian Television College in Jos again, and numerous efforts that individuals are making to open film schools and what have you, I think we are doing very well. The only thing is, maybe because of the downturn of the economy, maybe people may not be able to pay for getting such. Yes, exactly. Yes. So maybe where government agencies have the platform that they can be able to encourage doing so that they can be able to step up this acquisition of skills of younger people, it will go a long way in helping the situation.
Yes, and somebody will be watching it right now and asking, I have the money, but how do I go and I want to invest? How should I go about all this?
No, this is for an old generation guy like me, who they usually call us born before computers. But now with the advent of internet and the computerization of the world, anybody that is interested in developing himself, he will have only himself to blame if he does not have at the touch of his finger, right at his handset, to now say, this is how I can be able to access
or
opportunities.
Invest into film.
Yeah, so that's...
Well, thank you so much, ALHAJI. I know you're very busy and we can't keep you more than this, but we appreciate your time. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
And thank you for all you've done in the industry, like for every effort for building it to this very level. We appreciate you. These are things people don't, I know your kind is not person we see on a daily basis, and the things you've done so far, we do hope that we will be able to carry on eventually. Well, viewers, have been on the show with ABDULKAREEM Mohammed. He is the managing director of Moving Image Limited, a Kano-based multimedia entertainment film. He is a pioneer chairman of Motion Picture. I could go on and on. Is one of the fathers of African film, not even Nigeria. Let's go there. Anyway, I don't feel like stopping, but I have to stop because of time. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
My pleasure.
And keep doing what you do.
Thank
we
you.
will follow up, whole promise. Well, viewers, it's a good place to wrap up the show, The World of Cinema. I'm going to see you again next week. I remain yours truly, Princess Kessy. Bye.
SRTV Talent Award is here again. We honor, recognize, and appreciate hard work of individuals in the creative industry, films, music, fashion, and comedy. Nomination of various categories is now open at superiorradioandtelevision.com/SRTV-talent-award-registration, or contact us via the numbers on your screen now.